Now, Mark Lane has been to Oldham, and he went there to visit a Maggies Centre, which is created for the relief and solace of those suffering from cancer. And he spoke to one of the designers who had himself been through the experience of having and recovering from cancer, so knows only too well what is needed to create a garden that will be a real help.
Gardens can be an oasis for many of us. But if you're actually recovering from illness, as I well know, gardens can offer respite and an immeasurable sense of well-being. I've come to a really unusual place where the restorative power of a garden is at its heart. Unlike many gardens that are designed after the building goes up, this 200 square metre garden has been specially designed to intertwine with the building. It's absolutely stunning. The architects for the whole design worked with garden designer Rupert Muldoon to create this indoor-outdoor space. This is like a secret garden sunken below street level with this magnificent building floating above us. What was this space beforehand?
This space used to be the old mortuary, which was taken away. A great big pile of rubble was left, and when we came to clear the site, we really discovered it really was quite a slope. So you drop from the building and then you flow down into the garden. And we wanted to create something very natural, which was a contrast to the building.
It reminds me of like a Japanese rock garden. Was that the intention, or was there a more local inspiration?
It was very much more local. So when you enter the building, it opens up this huge view of the landscape beyond, and you look down over the roofs of Oldham to the Pennines beyond, and you watch the weather moving in. And I think one of the strong feelings was to capture a bit of that and bring it down here. We used rocks, birch, pine. These are things that you do get up in the Pennines, but the placement of things could be considered Japanese in a way. You have a rock, you've got a tree, you've got a pool of water.
Yeah.
There's a certain sense
There's
of
the elements
balance
of that.
And the elements,
Yeah.
exactly.
This building is quite dominant, and it does actually dictate many aspects of the garden. How on earth did you sort of start to think about this space in relation to this structure?
Strangely enough, there's no direct sunlight into this part of the garden. And because of the overhang of the building, we knew that we're going to have to deal with a lot of dry space. And we've used pheasant tail grass, and it goes a wonderful orange in autumn. And then it's fresh green again in spring, so it has a very seasonal, wild look to it.
And of course, it will also self-seed, won't it, amongst the gravel?
Does. It can get everywhere. And then behind us, this bank is planted up with real shade-loving plants, ferns, hostas, pachysandra, lots of mind-your-own-business, which I'm hoping will percolate into the rocks, green it up, form a lawn, and then the whole garden almost pivots around this one tree, which is a real focal point, and it's a focal point within the building. The moment you fling open the doors, you see this tree waving in front of you. It really brings the outside in. And then down here, it's the sort of centerpiece for the whole garden. It's a multi-stem birch. It will go a gorgeous yellow in autumn, and the sticks will rattle against the glass in winter. Hopefully it becomes something people will know about. I think it's already been referred to as the tree of life.
But you've used these different sort of grades of gravel for all these pathways, which sort of blur and blend. Obviously, being in a wheelchair, it's a little bit difficult, and I know as garden designers, you know, it's something we have to tackle in order to make gardens accessible for all.
Gravel was chosen actually because it was quite cheap. It's a very natural material. It binds the garden together. And how we resolve how a wheelchair passes through gravel, we still need to do that.
Would you ever consider something as sort of hard as like concrete?
Yes, it could be concrete with aggregates in it, and then washed over so you get the aggregates. You still get that lovely sense of it being a loose path. But this will be a totally accessible garden.
We're now just on the edge of this building, and there's a really different feel to this part of the garden. Can you explain what's going on in this area?
Yes, there's more light. We've been able to plant the trees that soar up high, and it's allowed us to plant an ornamental woodland. And you'll also see here small birch that's been used to form a sort of successional planting. So once these are matured, they can take over, and it forms that natural rhythm that you might have in a woodland. There's white swan, Iris sibirica, which will spread and form clumps. All the white digitalis, which hopefully will self-seed.
It works so well, different plants, but still ties the whole garden together. Being in this sort of space, it just makes you feel much better, and it's restorative. That's so important, isn't it?
It is. It's very important, and particularly if you're living with cancer. Having had cancer myself, I realised gardens and being outside made me feel well again. Just to be here in this place, not thinking about anything else, having that moment of calm and peace, I think is very important.
This garden, it invites you to spend some time here, to sit and reflect, enlivened with a sense of renewal and a nudge towards new possibilities.